you think we're going up against some Rudy Poop random guys that are selling drugs on a street corner, you got another thing coming to you, man. Good afternoon, folks. I'm Jake, and I'm your friend. Today, we're going to cover the cartel and how they're going to kick our ass should we decide to go into Mexico and start messing with them. Any questions about this? We're going to lean on my man Jay at the Green Beret Chronicles. Go check him out. He dropped this good-ass video. It ain't the norm. Just remember this, man. We're Americans. We think we're the baddest, biggest dude on the block. I heard a bunch of people talking about the violence and everything else. Let me tell you something, man. If you want to see violence, go down there and mess with the cartels, man. They got real violence. America ain't ready for this war. They ain't ready for this heat. But the problem isn't the cartels. The problem is us. Our own internal drug use is at an epidemic level right now. The United States doesn't have a cartel problem. They got a drug consumption problem. This is a drug issue. It ain't a cartel issue. America has the highest drug rate in the world. Look at this, man. Per million people, 245.8. Look at that mortality rate, man. This is just incredible, man. Let's get into it.
If you've never spent a day overseas, whether it's Iraq or Afghanistan, or you don't serve in some type of civil service post, whether it's the police, ATF, DEA, fast teams, and you're out here saying that special forces is going to crush the cartel, you just need to shut the fuck up because you have no idea the world of hurt that we're in. Going down, right? President Trump just signed an executive order designating the cartels, all of them, as terrorist organization. And what that allows them to do is to use special forces, Delta Force, Green Berets, Navy SEALs to go after the cartel.
I know a lot of you are going to be upset with this video, man. A lot of you are going to say, no way, no how, not possible. Go watch the end of Lioness season 2, man. Go watch it. I would put it in here, but they're going to ban my damn video. So go watch it. Look what happens to the whole DEA team, and all they're using is drones. Go watch the Ukraine footage of how much death and destruction, almost 2 million people lost in a 3-year war now, and they are using drones that cost $200 to eliminate high-speed units. Go check out what happened to the Navy SEALs from Ukraine who were trying to do a covert mission inside of Russia. They got on an island, and 24 people got wiped off the face of the earth. Oh yeah, we show up, we do work, we go home. We're not fighting Haji in his little mud hut at 14,000 feet in the Hindu Kush. That ain't this problem. These cats got more resources, better intel. They got their own satellites, okay? If you think we're going up against some Rudy Poop random guys that are selling drugs on a street corner, you got another thing coming to you, man. I know Shrek is out there talking about we'll go down there and lay waste. Hey, man, let me tell you something. What happens when they come back to Fort Bragg or Fort Lewis and they look your kids up and your family up? Let me tell you something. These dudes are brutal, okay? You don't believe me? I'm going to put a link in the description. Go check out what they did to this mother. Cut the fetus out of her stomach, beheaded her in Virginia, okay? They don't care. I heard a guy talking about violence. They don't know what kind of violence they're going to get from us. Let me tell you something. These dudes are professionals at violence. We over here in the amateur world. We play with handcuffs on all the time. We got politicians limiting us and how much death and destruction we can bring. Let me tell you, folks, this ain't going to be a cake party, man. It's going to be a bloodbath.
How is that going to pan out? I personally think it's a bad fucking idea, and we're in for a world of hurt. Drug cartels, now Mexico's 5th largest employer.
I mean, what do you want to say, man? We're going against their 5th largest employer. That's like someone coming in here saying, hey, man, we fixing to take down Walmart. What do you think is going to happen in America if we try to take down Walmart? First of all, the American people ain't going to let us take down Walmart. We need to go buy groceries and cans of spray paint. Okay. But the bigger part of it is part of the institution. You want to know why there's no more Bloods and Crips? You want to know why the gang violence in America has been extremely lessened? It's because the cartels are running every drug market in America and Canada. They're running the whole thing. It's their drug market now. Ain't no more gangs. Gangs couldn't stick together to root out the cartel. I have a couple people that do nefarious stuff for a living. I've known them since I was a young kid. And the direct quote from them, 1995, Seattle, Washington. I am getting out of the game because these guys are cutting people's heads off. Okay? We don't like that kind of stuff, man. You go down to Mexico, I just heard 39 politicians got murdered in the last election cycle. 39 in Mexico. Hey, man, listen, man. If you think a couple A teams and a couple Delta Force squadrons and a couple Dev Group dudes are going to go down there and solve this problem by killing some people, come on, man. El Chapo been in prison for a couple years now. His drug cartel is bigger and better than ever.
Some 175,000 people now actively work for Mexico's drug smuggling cartel. According to this estimate, the cartel has the ability to recruit more than 350 people a day. That's the machine that U.S. Special Forces would be going up against. Mexico is a sovereign nation. We're not at war with Mexico. So in order to go in there, more than likely, we're going to need permission from them. Let's now talk about titles and authority. Within the military or the Department of Defense and all these different entities, the president has to look at titles and authorities, giving him the ability to use certain forces to go action certain targets. The military, the DOD, we operate under Title 10. The CIA, they operate under Title 50. The National Guard, that's Title 32. So under Title 50, the CIA would be able to employ clandestine operation to gather intelligence, to disrupt the cartel's logistical chain, and to infiltrate their ranks without the public knowing.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. If we committed our whole armed forces to this problem, we took over Mexico and made it the 51st state, it wouldn't fix the problem. It wouldn't fix it. We would not be able to root it out. And anybody that wants to argue with me, hey man, I don't know if y'all remember August 2001, Afghanistan. 20 years of work was erased in about, call it 24 hours. So if you think that America's way is the best way, if you think we can go in there and impose our will on a country that's simply supplying us with Wonder Bread, okay, you in for another thing coming, man. You're in for another thing coming, man. America ain't that bad. America ain't that great. It is the best place in the world to live. But stop thinking that you got the ability to be a damn knight in shining armor and go down there and fix problems with kinetic destruction. Boy, we in for a bad one.
Using Title 50, the CIA can also train local militias and employ them to fight cartel members. But to be able to do that, guys, guess what the CIA needs? It needs permission from the Mexican government, whose fifth largest employer just happens to be the cartel. How do you guys think that's going to pan out? That's Title 50 under the CIA.
Now, Title 50 under the CIA, let's talk about it, okay? Who are they going to train? Who in Mexico is going to stand up to the cartels? No one. The president of Mexico ain't going to stand up to the cartels, okay? No one's going to stand up to them. Let's not forget that 90% of the cartel's bangers are trained by 7th Group, okay? If you don't know this, a huge portion of Mexico's special forces went over to the cartels a number of years ago and have been training people based on our training. How's that going to work out? We don't have some secret sauce. And I'm going to remind you all, a $200 drone will take down a $60 million covert Black Hawk helicopter. You don't believe me? Go over and look at Ukraine. A $200 drone will take out a Delta Force squadron. Oh, no, it won't. We'll jam it, okay? Listen, man, technology's running so fast right now. They have so much money and resources. Oh, and they got SA-7s. If you don't think the cartel has SA-7s, put it in the comments, man. Let me tell you something. These cats got billions and billions of dollars. And you don't think they got a couple SA-7s, surface-to-air missiles, that'll knock our helicopters down? You know they got thermal. How are we going to show up on site? We going to land on the X? Well, let me tell you something. Dishkas, 50 cows, they got it all. Go look at the armament of the cartel. This ain't some Rudy Poot. Once again, you know what I'm saying? It ain't Haji in his grass hut out in the Hindu Kush. And they ain't the Iraqis living over there with limited resources, man. These cats are well armed, well prepared, and I would make an argument they probably just as good as we are. They may not shoot quite as well as we do, but if you're shooting down helicopters, you ain't got to worry about all that shooting stuff.
Under Title 10, the military can employ overwhelming firepower to try to dismantle the cartel. They also can train military police, the Mexican government, to essentially go after cartel members. But again, just like Title 50, under Title 10, we still need permission from the Mexican government. Whatever we decide to do, Mexico has to be on board with it. If they're not, then we're essentially invading another country that's right on our border to go do work.
So the Green Berets are professionals at building insurgencies. Let me tell you something, folks. If you don't think the cartel has fully infiltrated all of North America and South America, their insurgency is rooted in generations. And we're going to come in there and we're going to Green Beret them, man. We're going to start an insurgency in Mexico. Come on, man. I'm just being real here. We out here thinking we're going to go down there and affect some change. Not going to happen.
Not a good idea, guys. Like, whatever we decide to do, Mexico has to bless off on. And if they haven't been doing that thus far, what makes you think that they're going to go along with this plan? Again, there's a lot of moving pieces here that we have to take in mind before we go do this. And what's the blowback of not doing it right? What country is currently going through something like this right now? Israel. Israel shares a border with everyone that's trying to fucking destroy them, right? And how is that turning out? Do we want to become Israel?
Hey, Jay, man, you hit it spot on, brother. I want y'all to look at Israel, man. Jay could not have said it better. There's damn near 90 million people in America that have South of Mexico roots. You don't think they've got heavy hitters in the United States? Who do you think is running all these drugs in the United States? Who do you think is selling all these drugs in the United States? Listen, folks, let's just say a Delta squadron goes down, and let's say it goes to Jalisco, Mexico, and it kills 35 cartel members in a house, seizes, I don't know, $100 million, causes a lot of hate and discontent. Is it any secret where Delta operates out of? No. They live at Fort Bragg. Is it any secret that cartel has members in the military? So their intelligence gathering is world class? No. How long will it take the cartel to pinpoint every house that a Delta guy lives in? Maybe 3 or 4 days. The Delta guy is probably a solidly moderate hard target. But I know this, his 4 kids in elementary school ain't a hard target. His wife that works at the bakery or in the hospital as a nurse, she ain't a hard target. I don't think you guys understand what we're dealing with here. This is like saying, oh, we're going to get rid of the Democratic Party. How the hell are we going to do that, man? Come on. Like, that's what we're talking about here. I wanted to put it in a different context. We're trying to get rid of the Democratic Party. Does anybody think that's possible? Oh, let's just get rid of the Republican Party. We're going to get rid of the Republican Party and we're going to do it quickly. You see how dumb that sounds? That doesn't even make any sense.
Do we want to be at war with Mexico and the cartel? Ask yourself that question. Now, let's look at strategy. If you look at Iraq and Afghanistan, the way we went in and the way we left, are those countries better or are they worse? That was our strategy. We went in, find whoever was in charge, kill them, and in the following year, when somebody else took charge, kill them, and that was it.
Call it whack-a-mole, the whack-a-mole strategy. So in 2004, I was working in consulting in the government. I was in the J5 office at the Pentagon, and a guy at my company made the recommendation to look at the polio vaccine and the WHO's plan to eradicate polio and how it was successful. I brought that up, that this is an education problem. If we want to win the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, we got to re-educate the populace. Because that's how they beat polio in Africa. They educated everybody about clean water. And then if they had an outbreak, they had a containment team that would fly in, vaccinate people around it. It was not a vaccination program. They did not vaccinate all of Africa. They educated them. This is an education problem, folks. But here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't our problem. I don't live in Afghanistan. I didn't grow up in Afghanistan. Understand this, for 2,000 years, people have been trying to conquer Afghanistan. No one's been successful. That should have been a hint to us not to fuck with Afghanistan. Do we want to go in there, mop up some dudes for 9/11? Hell yeah. Do we want to go set up camp for 20 years and see it all disappear in 24 hours? No, I don't think that was a good plan.
Are we going to use a similar strategy to fight off the cartel? It's not wise. Because if we go into Mexico, hunt down cartel leaders, and kill them, guess what? Someone else is going to take their place. We kill them, someone else is going to take their place, guys. Because guess what, man? We did it in Colombia. We did it in Venezuela when we were fighting the freaking narco war down there. And guess what? We still have this problem. So again, we got to make sure we go in with the right strategy. And on top of that, biggest mistake we made in Iraq and Afghanistan is we didn't respect our enemy. We thought we were just fighting dudes with fucking man jams and flip-flops. Guess what? 20 years later, guess who's laughing? They are. So again, we have to employ the right strategy going into Mexico, or else it's going to be a fucking bloodbath. Staying along the lines of strategy, going into Mexico, you got to keep these factors in mind. 32 million people currently living in the United States are of Mexican descent.
Yep.
Another 62 million has ties to Latin America. What do you guys think the appetite is going to be from the local population when they see on television body parts, bummed out kids, families shot to death because we are down there doing work?
Let's talk about the real elephant in the room. I don't think it's an elephant. I think it's more like a unicorn. The Hispanic population in the United States is going to become the majority in 2042. Look at your watch. Look at the calendar. Talking about 18 years from now. Okay? 18 years from now, the Hispanic culture is going to take over. That means they're going to take over the vote. They're going to take over the populace. Their opinion is going to matter the most. Okay? Are we going to somehow fix this in 18 years? No. Are they going to let us fix it? No. Can we fix it? No. It can't be fixed.
And for you to think that the cartel doesn't have a robust IO campaign, then you're mistaken. The freaking Afghan people were able to run theirs efficiently using fucking Nokia phones. We would go to a village, do work. By the time we get back to the fob, we're already shut down for 24 to 48 hours because of SIFCAS. Another thing you got to keep in mind, guys. Again, having been there, done it, seen it, I can see these things happening. We go down there and fuck with Jose and them, and then all they do is they go to Juarez or some other town in Mexico, kidnap a family, and coerce guys in the United States, citizens, law-abiding citizens, to turn towards the U.S. citizens and cause them harm.
Let that sink in. You have 32 million Mexican descents in America, 60 million South Americans in the United States. Kidnapping is one of the cartel's number one manipulative tactics to get people to do what they want them to do. I don't care how bad a dude you are in America. If they call you up and say, hey, we got grandma and grandpa sitting here in this room, we fixing to chop them up with this machete, we need you to go on down to the local army base and shoot up some people. What do you think's gonna happen, man? Understand this. The cartel got control. They got control from Canada all the way down to Chile. The whole continent. You want to put South America, North America in there? They running the whole shit. Okay? They running the whole thing. Let's stop being stupid. This ain't some Rudy Poot fly-by-night organization. It's damn near a fucking $1 trillion operation. They running with more efficiency than Amazon, Nvidia, FedEx. They just running with more efficiency than them cats, man. Better ran organization. Let that sink in a little bit. Let it sink in.
That's been a shit ton of cases where we're in Afghanistan doing work. Taliban goes into this village, kidnap a dude's family. That's part of the Afghan local police. Next thing you know, he turns an AK-47 onto his U.S. partners. You guys don't think that's going to happen when we go down there and start fucking up Jose and them? You don't think they're going to use that TTP? Unlike Afghanistan, Iraq, and all these other places that we fought, we don't have an ocean between us and Mexico, guys. Mm-hmm. And the cartel, they're freaking ruthless. Mm-hmm. So to think that they're not going to start using and employing those tactics, you're out of your mind. So when I see people on YouTube talking about, oh, we're gonna crush the cartel, it's about time, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be in Walmart looking at fucking Jesus and them sideways like, dude, I know they just kill your fucking homeboys down there, but don't even fucking think about it. Because that's all it takes. As a man, as a protector of your family, regardless of where you're at. The United States, Mexico, Iraq, Afghanistan, your family gets kidnapped, your kids get picked up, you're going to do whatever the fuck you need to do to get them back home safe. And to say that you won't, you're lying to yourself. How do we actually win the war against the cartel? How do we actually fix this issue? I hate to break it to you guys, but we can't. We won't be able to.
Man, Jay, I can't agree with you more. We can't fix the problem in Mexico. We got to fix the problem in America. We got to fix the drug epidemic we got going on. We got to fix the opioid pharmacy-driven problem we have in America. Until we fix our own problems, we can't go to somebody else's house and fix theirs. Listen, man, until we address this drug problem and this want for drugs, I don't give a shit what the cartel's doing. They ain't got nothing to do with what we trying to get done.
Fuck, we can't even fix Chicago. What makes you guys think that we're going to be able to fix this issue with the cartel? It's not going to happen. Why? For a couple of different things. Mexican government is corrupt as shit. Hell, some part of our government is corrupt. So to think that we're going to go down there, knock out a couple of people, and that it is going to fix everything, it's not. Supply and demand. As long as Americans keep wanting drugs, there's going to be people to supply drugs to Americans. That's just how that works. Right? So again, corrupt government, as long as that's in place, that's not going to happen, guys. So if we want to truly affect this, we got to work on the Mexican government, which again puts us in the state of nation building, which is where we don't want to be. The second thing that we can do, guys, is we can target the money. Instead of targeting individuals or the cartel themselves, we need to target the money. Target and follow the money. And more than likely, that shit's going to lead right back to the fucking United States.
Right back to the United States. I live in wonderful San Antonio, Texas. I'm not going to talk about it too much. You got stuff going on in all of the businesses. It's no secret. The money's not even leaving the United States anymore. It stays right here. So what are we going to do? We're going to shut down 90% of the businesses in the Southwest? We're just going to shut down the country to stop their money? Like I said, man, they built an insurgency. It's deep rooted into everything we do in America. You think just because we cross the border into Mexico, now we can go over there and address the problems? Look, man, this problem is so much bigger than anybody wants to imagine. Trump out there throwing superlatives and we're going to go give it to him and all that stuff. That sounds great. Trump, I love what you're doing, man. Keep changing America for the better. But I'm sorry, on this one, partner, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to lead to Miami and some other places in the freaking U.S. Because for the cartel to be as big as they are right now, they got to have some type of link to the United States. They got to have politicians. That's just how this shit works. So if we really, truly want to affect this, we got to follow the money and we have to target that. Last but not least, we got to take care of the root of the problem. There's a reason why a bunch of people are dying from fucking fentanyl overdose. It's because they're fucking addicts. It's because they love drugs. They know that they might end up with a bad batch and dying. But
I'm going to make an argument, Jay. I'm going to say we lost hope in America. You go through the Rust Belt, man, there's not a lot of hope. College education doesn't help you. How are you going to afford a college education when you're living on food stamps in Southwest Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana? We got to make sure we got to build America back to being great. We got to have jobs for America. Young men and women got to see a future, okay? I'm going to point at social media. Social media is killing America. And we got problems, man. We got real problems, and they ain't the cartel. They ain't.
That's not stopping them from doing fucking drugs. That's the problem. Not the cartel, not Mexico. It's the citizens of the United States that's consuming drugs at an alarming rate. Earlier in the video, I talked about supply and demand. If we want drugs and we crush the cartel, guess what? Another entity is going to rise to fill the gap.
Hell, it might even be the CIA, Jay. The CIA might start running drugs. We know they've done that in the past. Okay, let's not get it confused, folks. Everybody is lockstep. Everybody works together. This is a global economy. It's not some independent, one-off cartel going down in Mexico. It is a global economy problem.